Hello everyone, this is Beth Bond with Southeast Green, and this is my first Periscope. And thank you so much for Paula joining. And if this is your first time in the Periscope video, I've been watching Periscope for about 3 weeks now to sort of get the lay of the land and understand how this is going to roll. If you want me to give you a shout out, please just type in where you're logging in from and your name in all caps, because reading some of your some of your handles are difficult. But if you'll give me your first name, then we can make it a little more personal. I really want to thank Kim Garst, who is leading the charge on Periscope. She's scoping three times a day right now and giving a lot of valuable information, and she's the one that really gave me the courage to start my first scope. There are a lot of people on Periscope right now who are doing stuff on social media and how to use Periscope, and then the crazy sort of random stuff that people do. But I wanted to tell you a little bit about me and why I am scoping. As I said earlier, my name is Beth Bond. I have the largest online news site for sustainable business and environmental policy news in the southeastern United States. I know Periscope's a very international community, so we basically cover from the state of Florida to Texas to Virginia and Maryland, and we cover all things sustainability: renewable energy, recycling, water conservation, environmental policy, how to live your life greener at home. And the site is www.southeastgreen.com and has over 14,000 pages, so I'm sure you can waste a little time over there if you're looking to make your life or business greener. But today I wanted to start my first scope with, we're going to do a series of these. We're calling it Full of Useless Information, because my joke is that I have random information that may be entertaining at a party but may not be practical. But I do have a deep knowledge of how to recycle and solar, and so we'll be rolling out these series. We're going to try to do it once a week. We may do it a few more times. I also will throw in some social media stuff and some perspective from a blogger, quote, news person who's looking for content for Southeast Green. So I am very active on Twitter. If you ever need to reach me, you can use the same handle you used here in Periscope, at Beth S.E. Green, and I will be more than happy to answer any questions you have about anything sustainability or getting your press releases published on the site. So I wanted to start off and see if anybody has any questions out there about recycling. If not, I'll just start going through some of the basics. Okay, so there's lots of recycling, as people know. And by the way, if you have a question, just go on and chime in, and I'll read it, and we'll get going. Most people don't realize that 80% of what we traditionally throw away is recyclable. So many cities, not small cities in the U.S., but many urban cities, if not all urban cities, has some form of great. Someone said, no questions, I'm listening. All right, are you testing me to see if I know what I'm talking about? So many cities have curbside recycling, and curbside recycling is pretty accepted. Basically, plastics, aluminum, tin cans, sometimes paper. The key to know about curbside recycling, especially if you're in a metropolitan area — I am based out of Atlanta, Georgia — is every city, every county has a different recycling program. So a lot of times we hear about recycling in Atlanta, about what's happening in the city of Atlanta, and people think they can do that in DeKalb County or Roswell or Decatur, and then they start recycling based on what they've heard on the news, and then it doesn't work and they find things are thrown back. I will definitely answer the styrofoam question in a minute. Thanks, Paula, for asking. So what happens is what you need to do is you need to go on Google and ask Mr. Google for recycling rules for your particular municipality or county. So because everyone does something different, and I know it's very confusing. It would be very easy if everyone would just do the same thing, but unfortunately they do not. So that's the first thing. Please go Google and find out what your county or city is doing for recycling. Paula asked, Flourish Purpose is her handle, why is styrofoam so hard to recycle? And the styrofoam companies, what you will find out that I like to just give you the truth. So styrofoam is not recyclable in a typical MRF. Now, I don't know everywhere in the country, but especially here down in Atlanta, we definitely have folks manufacturing styrofoam or polystyrene, which is, you know, the tissue. Styrofoam is actually a name that is a brand name. So, but they say it's recyclable, but they won't take it in mainstream. And one of the reasons is the same reason we all know styrofoam is such a problem for the environment. It breaks apart, it flies away. You know, if a lot of styrofoam, like if you think about ice coolers, it breaks down to little pellets. So it's a real problem to be dumping that in with all the other recyclables. I mean, it just breaks apart under the weight of the other recyclables. So, so what you need to do is find spots. Now, we have 2 locations right now in Metro Atlanta that I know of, which means you have to save your styrofoam, which means you should really wash your styrofoam. If you take styrofoam with food on it, or residues from oils, like if you cheese, then you will have issue. They'll just throw it away. So I wash everything in my dishwasher because it's just faster and it gives me a full load, and it's so I just put all my recyclables with my dishes and I wash it in the dishwasher, so I have clean styrofoam waiting to be recycled, because it's too much of a hassle to go all the time. So I store it up and then I have a big bag. So we have the Charm Center, which is the city of Atlanta, which is down by Grant Park. And then also we have recycling at Dart Styrofoam Company that they have bins out in front of their plant that you can drop the recycling off. There are also local events, so if this should be anywhere in the U.S. If they're having a recycling event, they may be picking up styrofoam. So, but contrary to they tell you styrofoam's recyclable, but it's not easily recyclable. And so, you know, one of the conversations you need to have when you're doing recycling is you know, what can I reduce? What can I reuse? And when we talk about the 3 R's in sustainability, we talk about reduce, reuse, recycle. And people think, oh, I'll just recycle it. But reduce is the first one in there. So make sure that you're thinking about reducing. And choose packaging that's recyclable. I mean, if you're, you know, I think that's the other thing is people just think, oh, it's a plastic, I can recycle it. And it turns out if it's not stamped on the bottom with a 1, you know, whatever your city is taking, our city takes 1 through 7, but which is styrofoam, but they won't take styrofoam, so it gets really confusing. But if you have plastic that does not have a 1 through 7 recyclable triangle on it, do not put it in your recyclable stream, because you are now contaminating or polluting your recycling stream, and that means that they can actually turn away the entire pallet of recyclables. So please make sure that what we call dream cycling. Don't throw stuff in there saying, well, you know, they don't recycle it, but they should recycle it. So I'm going to make a political statement and throw something that's non-recyclable into the recycling stream because they ought to be recycling it. What you end up doing is either your whole bag of recyclables will be thrown away, or it'll get rejected when they go into the secondary line of where they sell the recycling goods. So please, it's really important for us all to be good recyclers. Any questions on recycling? Any more questions? Okay. Oh, great. Someone's here from Istanbul. I have no idea what recycling is like in Turkey, but I sure hope that y'all are doing it. Yeah, it is a big point about rejecting a pallet. And in fact, I actually wrote a blog about this because there was an article in the Washington Post about how waste management was going to stop recycling or make the municipalities pay for recycling because the recycling streams were getting so dirty. So and that people were yeah, the whole pallet can get rejected. And if you'll go, I'm not doing this necessarily to send you to Southeast Green, but if you go to Southeast Green and you see that blog, it also sends you back to the Washington Post where the guys from Waste Management were saying, you know, we sell our recyclables to China, who turns around and makes them into new plastic, and that the Chinese have gotten so picky that they just have to see one errant piece of plastic in a whole pallet and they'll say no. Well, then everything's gone, right? So it's really important as Americans for us to be really good recyclers. So instead of some of the solutions that are coming up, and I basically wrote a rant is what I wrote, because Waste Management's solution was, you know, well, we'll just charge y'all. And, you know, I'm like, well, wait a minute, why don't we spend some time educating people how to be better recyclers instead of just saying we're just going to charge the cities and let them pay for it. So anyway, so just remember when you're doing the plastic to look for that triangle. And another good thing to know is some things are recyclable but they aren't. So plastic straws are recyclable. They're made out of plastic number 5, and so they're recyclable in many places. But the problem is because of the way they are, which is small and thin, they gum up the machine, so straws do not get recycled. And if this doesn't get you to recycle, I don't know what else will. This is a very sobering fact. 500 million plastic straws are used in the United States every single day. Population of the U.S. is 310 million, so we are using 1.5 plastic straws every single day that cannot be recycled. So, my solution is stainless steel straw, which I have one and I was going to show you, but now I can't put my hands on it, of course, for this first scope, and or just stop doing it. I know a lot of people are germophobic, and do you know how dirty the glasses are, and blah 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 blah. You can carry a glass straw, you can carry a stainless steel straw, you can put it in a plastic bag if you have to, because people are worried about the drink getting in their purse or whatever. But there's a way to solve it, and if we could just all reduce our straws use, that would make a huge difference. And the other thing about straws, of course, is they blow away, they end up in the streams, and so it causes a big problem with the ocean pollution. So anyway, I want to thank everyone for joining us for my first scope, and I hope you enjoyed it. There was one tip that I was supposed to start at the beginning with the new iOS. Sometimes the keyboard doesn't go away, so and you won't see my whole face. So if you want to see my whole face or what people are posting, just tap on it and make sure you hide your keyboard so you can see the whole picture. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember, you can go to southeastgreen.com to get blogs and news about sustainability in the Southeast, and we'll look forward to you at the next scope.